Hey everyone, it's Terry Virts here. I'm running for United States Senate in Texas, and we've had another entirely preventable tragedy with the 4th of July Hill Country flood, an area with known flooding that didn't have any warnings for the people on the ground, and we've had terrible response since the flood. There's hundreds of dead Texans, including dozens of children. I can't imagine how painful this tragedy is for those who lost folks. My heart truly breaks for them. We're seeing cowardice from our leaders. We're seeing CYA from our leaders. We're seeing ceremonies where politicians thank each other and pat each other on the back. And tragically, the MAGA leaders who run our state and the president they serve are just not competent enough to do the job. They offer thoughts and prayers, and they're trying to play the part on some TV reality show.
All we know is that prayer does work. Your prayers have made a difference.
There's been no accountability. Nobody has accepted responsibility for anything, and no one has talked about any plan to do better. Just the opposite. They've mocked even having a plan to do better. This kind of failure isn't an act of God. This is a MAGA-made disaster. 2 days after the floods, FEMA could not even answer two-thirds of the phone calls that were coming into them. Why can't FEMA answer the phone? Because Kristi Noem's Homeland Security Department had laid off the contractors who did the work. It took days for her to renew those contracts when victims are calling needing help. She should have been moving heaven and earth to fix that problem, and she didn't. It was a problem that she created, and she didn't fix it. Instead, she was on Instagram asking her Instagram followers which picture of her on a horse should she use for her official portrait. When pushed on it this weekend, did Kristi Noem own it? Did she offer any kind of reassurance that she's going to do better, that we made these mistakes and we're going to fix them? No, she does what MAGA always does. She called it fake news. She bet that you and I and everyone else aren't smart enough to know better.
Why did it take so long to extend those contracts?
It's just false. Those contracts were in place.
It didn't take 5 days?
No employees were off of work. Every one of them was answering calls. So false reporting, fake news.
Look, United States senators are there to be a check on that kind of incompetence. They have power. The senators from Texas have real influence. Is John Cornyn demanding accountability? I haven't heard a word from him. Nobody has, and we're not going to. Ask John Cornyn hard questions about what went wrong, what we can do better to fix this and prevent it the next time. And this is about as much as you can expect from him.
A terrible tragedy, but thanks to President Trump and Secretary Noem, the federal disaster relief has been provided at the request of Governor Abbott, and it's just a time of very many conflicting feelings, but primarily we're very sad for those who've lost their lives and the unaccounted for. Governor Abbott has called today a day of prayer.
Look, as a fighter pilot and NASA astronaut myself, after every mission I ever did, we had a debrief. How to get better, how to not make the same mistakes again, how to not point fingers at other people. Just do it better the next time, because when you're flying an F-16 or when you're flying in space, our lives literally depend on it. Well, guess what? If you're running the Homeland Security Department, if you're running FEMA, if you're running the Texas state or county government, lives do depend on it. Look, John Cornyn is just weak. He is not strong enough to do his job and to stand up to the powers that be. And neither is Ken Paxton. Does anybody expect Ken Paxton to stand up and do the right thing? Look, neither is Ted Cruz. Once again, he's out of the country on vacation when a disaster strikes Texas. Neither is Greg Abbott, our GOP governor. He's giving tough guy football analogies when he should have been funding flood warning systems.
Every football team makes mistakes. The losing teams are the ones that try to point out who's to blame. The championship teams are the ones that say, don't worry about it, man, we got this. We're going to make sure that we go score again, that we're going to win this game.
The hard truth is that single party MAGA rule has been a catastrophe for Texas. During a crisis, there's supposed to be someone who answers the phone. None of these guys were up for answering the call this time, and they won't the next time. And you, as voters, don't have to accept that. None of us do. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, it doesn't matter if you're an independent. I'm running for Senate to bring unity to our state. I'm running for Senate to bring competence to our state. I'm running for Senate to dig us out of this insanity that we're in. And my first job as a senator is going to be to debrief, to figure out what's been going wrong, to be honest about it, to have straight talk about what's broken and what we need to do to fix it. Look, folks, even in moments like this, in tragic moments, even especially in moments like this, when so many of us are hurting, we need to demand better. And that's exactly what I'm going to fight for as a United States Senator.